What's up, everybody? This is Nick, and as always, we want to welcome you to the Pull Up a Chair podcast, where we are talking nostalgia. We talk things that other people try to remember, but they just can't, and we bring it to you. And as always, I am here with my co-host, the man who remembers everything, the man who is called the memory like an elephant, my co-host,
Eric.
Eric, today we are looking at a few things that are happening out in the world. We are excited. We're going a little bit farther back than the 80s than what we normally do, what we normally talk about. But there's a couple things that are coming down the pipe. A couple things that in the long history, the long, well, I mean, it's not really even that long. It's just the recent history of rebooting things.
Okay, yeah.
We have many reboots that are happening.
Okay.
And one of those reboots is one that I wanted to talk about. It goes farther back than our old 1980s, but there was a movie back in the 1980s about these people. That
a movie in the 80s about people.
Well,
hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to try to guess this.
Hang on. They're not really, they're kind of people.
They're kind of people.
Yeah.
Are they foreigners?
You could call them that.
Are they aliens? Coneheads. They're rebooting Coneheads. That was in the 80s, wasn't it?
It was, and I wish.
Conehead.
I wish, but that was actually a Saturday Night Live skit. But this was an actual series.
Okay. Oh, hold on. You said further back than the 80s. You said you said further back. Okay, hold on.
We're talking 1960s.
Oh, Coneheads was in the 90s. I didn't realize that. The movie was. Oh, in the 60s. 60s.
We're going farther back, my friend.
Further back than the 80s to the 60s.
To the 60s.
Mr. Ed. Been Mr. Ed in the 60s?
I wish the Mr. Ed, I believe, was in the 60s.
Yeah, it was 58 to 60s. Man, that was on 8 years. That's a long time for a talking horse. That's a long time for a horse to eat a bunch of peanut butter.
You are dancing around the answer. You are getting close to things that, man, you're mentioning things that make my heart hurt because I want those to happen.
Bonanza. Oh, they're real people.
No. I'm
My Favorite Martian.
Ooh, good, close.
Star Trek. There's some not people in that.
There is some not people in that. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this one because you're dancing all around it, my friend.
I just can't get it.
There is a reboot coming, and I'll be honest with you. I wish, and we'll talk about those here in a second. I wish that there was a reboot. By the way, there already has been a reboot of Star Trek.
There has?
Yeah, there was this movie. Star
Trek. Next Generation.
They retconned it to where now, Captain Kirk is Chris Pine, and
yeah, they changed timelines too.
Is that Chris Pine? I don't know. I can't remember. Is that his name?
I don't know anything about movies.
Anyway, this is the Munsters.
Munsters. And tell me, what is the Munsters?
Not the Moosters. Munsters.
All right.
The Munsters.
All right. Tell me about the Munsters.
The Munsters, my friend, was a series where I don't know. It was not one that I was thrilled about, to be honest with you.
How long was it on?
It was on. Give me just a second. I got to go to my resources here.
Jimmy on the street. Call him Jimmy up.
Jimmy's actually on vacation right now.
You know what?
Very sad thing. It was actually only on for 2 years.
Sad thing.
64 to 66.
That's not very long. That's a pretty short-lived
But it
series.
it had 70 episodes.
2 years, 70 episodes.
How did this show? Here's my thing. How did this show? I didn't realize it was only on for 2 years. It kind of had a similar run. I mean, it was on concurrently with the Addams Family, of course. But how did this get so popular if it only lasted 2 years?
I don't know. Ask Firefly.
Who? Oh, you mean You mean Mr. Joss Whedon? Ask him how he did that.
How did he do that? Maybe this is where he got it from.
Well,
Here's what I remember. I'm going to tell you what I remember about the Munsters. Going back, I like to talk nostalgia now and then. I don't know. Maybe we should do it more often. Talk nostalgia. But I'm going to do it for a little bit. I hope indulge me.
Okay.
Indulge me. My family went on a cross-country road trip. We did that. That's something we did. We bought a large conversion van.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the name of the van. Gerardo conversion van, which is those vans that were huge that, the front seats were both captain's chairs. The second row was another set of captain's chairs, and the back was a bench, like a seat that folded down into a bed.
Okay.
And it also had a place for a TV, an ice chest, a place to hang your clothes all in the back of it.
Okay.
The windows had window shades. Yes, window shades.
So what you're describing here so far, what I'm picturing is what today would be called a rape van.
Well, no, rape vans are white and say rape on the side, obviously.
Well, I mean, yes, they do.
This is the predecessor of a rape van.
Okay.
This is, I don't know what. This is inappropriate touching van, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
So not quite rape, just.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna just a little side here. So I had to drive this van. This has nothing to do with Munsters. I had to drive this van when I got my driver's license, and I thought I was going to be the laughing stock of my school because I drove this big van, and not only was it a big brown and orange van, the company that made it was called Gerardo.
Okay.
And when we bought it, on the back where the extra spare tires on the back of vans,
right?
It had that, and the cover for it said Gerardo at one point, but if you scraped off the letters, which the previous owners did, it said Her, H-E-R, Gap O, Gap Van, Gerardo van. And I was like, I got to drive a vehicle that says Her O Van. Her O Van is what I was like, this is embarrassing. Well,
Hero van.
That is how everyone pronounced it. It's the hero. People loved me.
Buddy, I was going to say, you turned it around. Your problem is that you weren't looking at it from the right angle.
You are exactly right. I had to lock my car because all my friends that dabbled in the marijuana would go out at lunchtime
to the hero van
and become heroes in their own right.
I gotcha.
If you know what I'm saying. I am not entirely. My parents trusted me because I drove around in a mobile bedroom, and they were not concerned at all. I was trusted. There were times there were 20 people in my van, me driving through town. At one point I was a good kid.
You were the 90s version of Uber is what you're telling me.
Basically, I was a good kid, but we goofed around all the time. I was driving one day. The kid in the back was just being obnoxious, and I said, "If you don't shut your mouth, I'm gonna come back there and hit you in the face." And he's like, "You're driving, you don't do that." So I put on cruise control, ran back there and punched him, and ran back to the front. Yeah, it made everyone very uncomfortable, but I made it, and I'm glad I didn't die and kill everyone in the van. So that was good. Good times. But back, we went cross country driving.
You know what? I'm getting the hero van is an analogy you're making.
Okay.
For the Munsters. I see what you're doing
here.
It is.
Man, you catch on so well.
Man, you just took that real deep, and I respect you for it.
Well, thank you.
Because much like the misunderstanding you had with the hero van, and how you didn't appreciate it at the time, the Munsters were not appreciated at their time until later, when really everybody saw them for the hero van that they were.
No, so we went cross country.
No,
driving,
nothing like that.
We went. Well,
nothing?
We went up to nothing like. We went up to the Mount Rushmore. Went over to Yellowstone. My dad has family all over the country. And so he was visiting cousins and whatnot. Super boring for me and my brother because it was just awful. I got car sick. Yeah, if I rode in the back of that thing. Driving it was fine. Riding in the back, I got car sick. And I was about 12. 11 or 12 when we did this. Now, one thing we could get, I lived in the country, didn't have cable, but for some reason, when we started driving through different states, I could pick up a station that played a few things, and one of them was the Munsters. I think that was near my first impression of the Munsters was, what is this show with a giant dad who is not scary at all, though he looks like Frankenstein. The mom who's like some sort of bride of Frankenstein, but it looks more like a witch to me.
Right. I mean, it was kind of that was kind of the premise. It was like a family of monsters. You had the Bride of Frankenstein. You had the Frankenstein, which was Herman Munster.
Yeah.
You had Lily Munster, who was the bride of Frankenstein. Then there was Grandpa, who was the Count.
He was Dracula.
Count Dracula,
Count
basically.
Sam Dracula.
Then you had Eddie Munster, which I'm not sure. Actually, I think Lily Munster was meant to be the other Dracula.
Yeah.
She was But then Eddie Munster was a Dracula. You had Marilyn, who was actually the niece that I think had come to.
She was the normal one?
Yeah, she was the normal one. She lived with them.
And then they had the mom had a bird.
Yeah, the Raven,
A raven?
who was actually voiced by apparently Mel Blanc.
Are you serious? Mel did that voice?
Mel,
the man of how many voices?
It was like 100 voices or something. No,
Yeah,
1,000 voices.
1,000
He was the
voices.
man of 1,000 voices.
Man of 1,000 voices. Every voice actor's hero.
Yeah, I mean he was famous for doing, Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig. I mean he did all the voices for like Looney Tunes. It was also voiced by, apparently at some point it either traded but it was also voiced by Bob Hastings, who he was known for. He was a character on McHale's Navy, that old show,
which had a reboot.
It had a movie.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that was
kind of yeah.
Wasn't great.
I've seen most of it. It didn't really capture
Wasn't
me.
amazing. But I mean, this was we had recurring characters of Dom DeLuise showed up. You had John Carradine in some of these of the, he was in some shows back then. I recognize him from westerns that I watched with my dad and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a show. I didn't really watch it much. It didn't really appeal to me. Now, something I didn't know is that this already had a reimagining and a reboot of sorts.
Reimagining. I like that.
Back in 2012, there was a series called Mockingbird Lane.
And that's where they lived, yeah.
Yeah, and it was this.
Was it 666 Mockingbird Lane? It's one of those like.
Yeah.
I'm guessing I'll have to.
No, you're right. I think it was like 66 Mockingbird Lane, I think was their
Something
address.
like that, yeah.
We'll have to look that up before the end of the show. However, this show did not do very well. It got a 1.5 out of 5.
1313 Mockingbird Lane.
Oh, 1313. Oh, that makes more sense. Because that's, obviously the
whatchamacallit, exactly.
The unlucky number. Twice.
Okay. Twice.
Not only is it unlucky once, it's unlucky twice. But this one had some. It had Jerry O'Connell as Herman Munster, Portia de Rossi as Lily Munster, Eddie Izzard as Grandpa.
This sounds really familiar. Did I watch this?
You may have. I think I watched part of it.
I like Eddie Izzard. I mean, if you don't know who Eddie Izzard, he's a cross-dressing comedian. Is he still cross-dressing?
I don't even know if he's still relevant anymore.
Well, he's been in quite a few things. I can't remember the last thing. Maybe that was the last thing he was in.
I don't know. I'm really just at a loss as to. Now I don't know who some of these other people were. They're apparently as Marilyn Munster, the niece, is Charity Wakefield, which I'm looking at her list here of shows. She's been in some actual things, like she was in a Doctor Who episode back in 2016.
Okay.
Beyond that, I'm sure if other people looked at this, they would know some of these things, but I do not. But then you also had Mason Cook as Eddie Munster. But I mean, apparently this is a kid that was actually from Oklahoma. He's from Oklahoma City. So I mean, I got to give a shout out to one of our boys.
Sure, yeah,
But he's actually been in some stuff. He was on the Cleveland Show. He was on Steven Universe, Grimm.
Well, he's been on some pretty
Speechless,
good stuff.
R.L. Stein's Haunting Hour, The Lone Ranger.
Who is this again?
He's a kid by the name of Mason Cook. He was born in the year 2000.
He's a young boy.
He played Cecil Wilson in the 2011 Spy Kids All the Time in the World.
I have never heard. I am really disconnected from everything that boy's in. I will say, okay, I'm on the IMDb page looking at Mockingbird Lane 2012. The art looks like the art direction. I actually really like that. I might have to go take a gander at this old movie. 7.6 out of 10. Yeah. 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up getting gained a rating. Let's see. A 1.5 out of 5 rating share for adults age 18 to 49. NBC did not pick it up. I mean, getting back on track, did not pick it up due to disagreements on the dark nature and inconsistent tone.
Oh, that's too bad.
It was more of a dark comedy, I guess.
Okay. This kid Mason Cook, he's in that new Speechless series. I've seen a lot about that. You like the Goldbergs? Do you remember him from the Goldbergs? That's one of your favorite shows, I thought.
It is. I'll have to go back and look. That's 2014 Tyler Stanfield. Actually, yes, I do remember him.
Dungeons and Dragons, anyone? 2016.
Yes. Yeah, I remember him now.
Is he good?
Yeah, he's pretty funny. Although the whole show is pretty funny, but yeah, I do remember him now.
It's easy to be funny when you got good writing behind you.
Yes. But now this series is being redone again. But this time at the helm is Mr. Seth MacFarlane.
Who?
You may have heard of him. He's done a few things.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, could you elaborate on a little bit of his background so I can understand where he's coming from?
Well, you may know him. Not Seth MacFarlane. Is it Seth MacFarlane? Hang on. Am I right here?
I don't know if you're right. That's why I'm asking.
Let me get back here.
I mean, the Seth MacFarlane I know.
I may have said the wrong name. Give me just a second.
No problem. Is he producing or directing? What's he doing?
Well, he's supposed to be, whoever it is supposed to be writing the show and being.
Oh, he's the writer?
Yeah.
If he's the writer, it's going to be pretty funny, most likely.
Well, if it is that Seth MacFarlane, give me just, maybe Seth Green. It's one of the Seths. Give me just a second.
Oh, they're about the same person.
They're about the same person?
Height difference is all you have. Well, no. I like Seth Green, too. Either one of those is good in my books.
Oh, no. Wait, another Seth.
Okay.
Hang on. I have completely gotten the names mixed up. No, this is Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers? Golly.
The late night. Look, there's too many Seths in Hollywood, okay?
Seth Meyers?
Seth Meyers, the late night host.
Well, I got to say I am less
excited?
Less excited for this one.
It's him and a person by the name of Jill Cargman, which I'm not sure. Inspired by the original series, single camera Munsters, now in development, follows. Let's see, 1313. Cargman will write the script and will executive produce with Seth Shoemakers Productions, Myers and Mike Shoemaker.
So he's producing.
Cargman is writing. This Jill Cargman is writing.
Jill Cargman.
Yeah, let's get some information on this Jill. Odd Mom Out creator is Jill Cargman. I don't know what that is. I'm sure somebody listening may know what the Odd Mom Out is.
I don't. I have a hard time finding this person.
Well, I have a picture of her right here. Let's see. Movies and TV shows. She's done Odd Mom Out and The Intern.
The Intern?
Yes.
That one sounds familiar. I didn't watch that.
I'm guessing you haven't because it's a 2000 indie film.
Oh, it's not the Intern movie I'm thinking of.
Romance.
Wow.
I'm going to look at Odd Mom Out here. Yeah, I'm guessing that's another one you haven't seen.
Yeah, I've not seen either one of these. I'm going to say this. Guys, aren't you, our listeners should be so happy we are so prepared.
We are.
We research diligently all the topics we choose to go over.
Now, let me just point out something. Sometimes we do some really good research. This one, I'll admit, we kind of dropped the ball on this a little bit. Since I'd mentioned pretty much all three of the Seths in Hollywood, I'm going to assume that they can just, throw me a bone on this one and say, you know what, Nick? You tried.
You did try.
You gave it the old college try, and that's what we enjoy. But you know what? Let's shift gears here for a second.
Okay.
We have the story of the Munsters coming back. You have Seth Meyer, Jill Kargman.
Seth who?
Seth Meyers.
Oh, Meyer. Okay.
Myers. He.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard of him. He does late night.
Nope.
Okay.
I do know he is. I don't watch his show.
No.
I don't think he's funny. I just don't think he's funny.
No, but apparently he's just producing. I don't know anything about this Jill Kargman.
I don't think she's funny either.
Well, I'm looking at her history here. She's in kind of some quirky shows, which I guess would fit with the Munsters.
All right.
Apparently, as long as it's not dark and have an inconsistent tone, NBC will be fine with it.
Okay, well, thank heavens for NBC, huh?
Oh, NBC, where we show crap television.
I don't even know what's on NBC right now.
NBC, there you go. That's a plug for you right there.
I like that new slogan they came up with.
Well, they did.
It's bold and daring.
It is. Well, what people want today, they decided, was honesty.
Well, I mean,
so NBC decided, you know what? We're just going to be honest with you.
Well,
we got crap and we know it. Go ahead.
With our social cultural landscape, honesty is key now. That's everything revolves around being honest and forthright.
Right.
All media, politics, it's nothing but, solid gold. People have just that cut their teeth on the truth.
Honestly, I believe that people would actually respect NBC if they were like, the C stands for crap. National Broadcasting Crap. And that's what we do, people. Every night we take a big dump in your living room. And I'm sure people would watch it then.
They'd still watch it.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I know.
Well,
but you just got done speaking of watching something, and this is something of quality.
Are we doing an Eric Watches?
Oh, wait, Eric? You know what? Ding, 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 yay! We have an Eric Watches for this week. We also have a Nick catches the tail end.
Nick gets the last few minutes of it.
That's right. I'm going to redo that graphic of you watching television with a window of me chasing something.
You're like peeking up over the couch.
Yeah. So, we will, we have this other show that we've talked about many times, a show that you and I loved as back in the 80s, a show called DuckTales. Now, you watched the new one that came out. When did it come out officially?
Past weekend.
This past weekend.
The 12th was the official date.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Today is not the 12th. So I'm going to.
And it's
the 12th.
It's live on YouTube, right?
It's not. It's not live.
It's
live. It's animated.
Every time you hit play,
somebody
in Disney XD is like pushing buttons, like, oh, not again.
No. Yeah. Well. Yeah. On Disney XD YouTube channel, they're showing what they call the first episode, but it's really 2 episodes.
Okay.
Back to back. It's 40 minutes of nonstop DuckTales hilarity. It is pretty good, though.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Did it feel like the old show?
It did. It really did.
What's your take on this?
It is a reimagining, it's
right.
It's a little bit different. My take on it.
What did you like? What did you not like?
It sounds like there might be a little bit of. I don't want to spoil it. It's a cartoon. I don't feel like there's going to be a ton of. It's not Game of Thrones. So.
This just in, people. Eric's calling this the Game of Thrones of cartoons.
It is.
When Donald Duck started spitting up blood, I was wondering what was happening.
Well, he's a man of many talents. So here's how it goes. Donald Duck, I think he's going to be much more prevalent in this series
right.
than previous series. Though the previous series in 5 episodes, you said.
I don't
It's
remember
very
how
few.
many.
It's like-
I'll look it up as you.
I think he's in the first one and second one maybe,
Yeah.
and then maybe he's in just a smattering through the rest of it.
Right. He would show up every once in a while, like they would call him or something like that. But go ahead.
What's also nice is the same voice actor that did the Donald Duck from the original DuckTales is the same voice actor now that's doing Donald Duck.
Okay.
Because you came in and you started hearing Donald Duck speaking. Who's doing that? He sounds really good. Well, he should. He's been Donald Duck since the 80s.
I got a good ear for these
You do
things.
have a good ear. He's so good at being Donald Duck. I still have problems understanding at times what he's saying.
Yes.
It's okay. I think I got what you're saying. You turn on the closed captioning if you have to.
God bless that closed captioning now to understand Donald Duck in this day and age.
Yeah, no joke. There are some old Disney cartoons that I'm like, I literally don't know what he's saying. And I don't know. I was just how it is. It's good though. So it's a little bit different premise. It's not too different. In the original, Donald Duck drops off his nephews so they can be watched by Scrooge McDuck. And so the premise is really similar in the sense that same thing. This time, instead of going out to sea as Donald Duck was doing in the
to go join the Navy.
To go join the Navy.
You know what? Thank you for your service, Donald Duck. We really, if you're listening, we appreciate it.
Thank you. He is going to a job interview and needs someone to watch the boys for a time. And hilarity ensues. And of course, as the previous incarnation of this show, he is the old Scrooge is reluctant. He doesn't like the boys. They're a nuisance. He doesn't need family. But by the end of it, he comes around and they are his new crew. Launchpad's already in there. Before, Launchpad didn't come in until season 2, I think, or later on. He wasn't in the first couple episodes, I don't believe.
I thought he was.
Was he? I thought he got hired. Like you watched him get hired.
Yeah, I thought he got hired in those first couple episodes.
Well, that's what I said. He wasn't in the first couple. I thought it was like in the third or something. I said first season, but I think it's just you can look that up later. So continuing on, he's already there. He's basically the chauffeur for Donald Duck. So the chauffeur's not there. What was his name?
That was
Ducksworth.
So, which was actually a dog.
Did I say it was a duck?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I always just found it weird that he had a name Ducksworth, and
there's minorities in every culture.
You know what? We don't judge people by their names, but you are correct. By the way, Launchpad doesn't show up until the 3rd episode.
Okay. Well, he's there. He is the chauffeur in the series, and he keeps telling Scrooge, "Hey, I can fly. I'm a pilot." But he's more of a bro. He's a bro duck, or he's not a duck. Is he a duck?
Who? Launchpad?
Yeah, he's a quack.
He's a duck.
His bill looks different. I don't know what kind of duck he is. He's not that ducky, but he's a bro duck now. Is what it seems like. Very, very bro-esque.
He's a Darkwing Duck, actually.
You have Mrs. Beaksley as the housekeeper, who is not the secretary, as she makes it very emphatically clear. But she's instead of being kind of a pear-shaped, she's shaped.
She looks like she could beat
she's
up
a linebacker.
like 9 people.
Exactly. She's tough.
When she came on screen, I was like, whoa, okay.
Well, and was her niece's name Webby in the original series?
Yes.
She's there already with Mrs.
Right.
Was she there already? I thought she came in later in the original. I thought
Does she?
came. Yeah, I thought she came in.
Man, you've watched this show more recently than I have, so
No, I don't. This is all from my childhood that I'm remembering this one. So I thought she came in later on in the series, but she's there already, and she's like she has no friends, and she's odd. She's like been sheltered, but she's highly trained by her aunt.
what do you mean by highly trained?
Like she's trained her like in martial arts and in various techniques to keep her safe.
Yeah.
But she doesn't allow her to go outside.
Gotcha.
So she's been trained and she's been prepared. She's been preparing for she doesn't know what. But all that aside, there is one thing that is, I think we're going to get into something I always wondered, because Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the nephews of Donald Duck, right?
Right.
Donald Duck is the nephew of Scrooge McDuck.
Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge, Scrooge McDuck. So there's a lot of lineage missing there, and I think that's going to become a major plot point for at least one season, maybe two.
We're going to get a story of who the parents are, because that was never a concern. Which on an earlier podcast, you and I said that there was something about these shows where kids didn't have parents.
Yeah, kids never had parents. They were always gone, or they were with their uncles or these family members or something.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, kids were getting shipped off to different family members. Like, there was a lot of terrible parenting in cartoons back in the day.
Not much different than back in the day, just normal parenting for most parents.
Yes, I mean not too much different than
how often
today.
were you sent out to the woods for days on end?
Oh, I was raised by wolves.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've talked about your addiction. We're not getting into that, but it is kind of related to your wolf heritage.
It was. My dad sent me out with a stick and a stake tied around my neck and told me not to come back until I was a man.
Okay. By steak, do you mean like that piece of meat or like another piece of wood?
No, it was actually one of those. It was actually one of those squeezy steaks that went pee wee pee wee.
Well, are one of those in here?
Yeah, I know. It's amazing, right?
Your voice. Yeah,
I know.
How do you do these sounds?
I know. It's amazing. I do them with my mouth.
Oh, man, I cannot
Classically trained by myself for myself.
So it was. I enjoyed watching. Got to watch 2 episodes. I would watch them as they came out if I had cable, but I don't. So I will find other avenues to watch them. But I did enjoy it. I hope to show it to my kids.
Right.
And watch them say, I don't like it. I can't wait for that, because that's what usually happens.
Now, let me ask you this. What was the big adventure in this one?
Well, the first one was discovering the mansion a little bit, just kind of mansion exploring.
Like, we found a mansion.
Well, it's Scrooge. They get shipped to Scrooge's house for a time. And so they're that's when you meet Webby, and they kind of go around the mansion.
Gotcha.
And then it references the second one is Atlantis.
Gotcha.
Which is I figured that's a big mythical thing to really bring out in the second episode of the show.
And it's weird to do it in like 30 minutes. Now, the first
arc of the first season was about the
Gold
City.
Yeah, the Golden City, which I'm looking at the first 5 episodes kind of encompass this, I guess you could call it, movie of the ones. But yeah, I mean, apparently Webby shows up about episode 4.
Okay.
Launchpad showed up in episode 3. Gyro Gearloose.
Yep.
He shows up in...
Who becomes... And didn't he become the...
No, he makes the...
Yeah, he makes the suit.
He makes the suit, but it's actually Fenton Crackshell.
Fenton Crack, that's right.
Who says blathering blatherskite, and he becomes Gizmo Duck.
Yes, Gizmo Duck. I don't know. Who becomes Darkwing Duck?
Darkwing Duck was just its own series.
Yeah, I know. There was crossovers in DuckTales. Wasn't there?
No, he didn't. He doesn't show up until his own series. And yes, Launchpad shows up, and there was you see the Beagle Boys and stuff like that, and
I thought
Darkwing.
They had a direct crossover at one point.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd have to look it up.
I might be remembering incorrectly. But they were on back to back a lot. So.
I do have a vague memory of Huey, Dewey, and Louie coming to either calling or coming to
visit. They were going to visit Launchpad. Yeah, that's what it was.
I have this vague memory of that. I don't know if it was something I made up in my mind.
Probably, and I watched it from there.
I would have loved this to happen.
Well, it sounds like it's going to happen.
It should. And that's the thing, is that Darkwing Duck, one of our favorites,
a fantastically written, voice acted, animated series. It's
so I mean,
good.
they are supposed to be showing up in DuckTales.
The new DuckTales.
And that would just be... I'm excited for this possibility.
I want to see how they do it. If they keep... it was really well done. The song's on point. Of course, they're just they kind of redid the original theme song. the animation, I love it. You said, was it you who said they didn't like it as much? Somebody I talked to said they didn't like the animation as much.
I was a little on the fence about it. Now I've heard other people mention that they don't like it. And
It's more.
I think our friend Ryan may have mentioned it, that he wasn't a fan of it. I know some people have said, even some people online have said.
Online, solid people online, solid.
Well, everybody has opinions,
I mean, everyone's allowed to be wrong.
and they're much like elbows.
What are elbows like?
Well, everybody has them, and they all stink apparently.
Elbows stink. Man, I guess depends what
If
you're
you
doing
don't wash them, I don't know. Like, doesn't yours? No, mine doesn't stink.
I just lick
Not
it off.
elbows. So this series, I mean, it does look fun, and yes, there is kind of a little cliffhanger, not to ruin anything, kind of a little cliffhanger at the end of the episode.
Yes.
That I'm guessing will lead into more things, questions that have always been asked about who the parents are of Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and what direction they'll go with that. I mean, right now, at this point, it, like you said, it's a reimagining, but it's also kind of a, we'll see where it goes type of deal. So you don't see Ducksworth, which I really used to enjoy the character of Ducksworth.
Yeah, I liked his snarky attitude.
Yeah,
because he could give some. He drank some vinegar, ate some tacks for breakfast.
He did
to deal with Scrooge, and so I liked his snarky attitude. I mean, I'm looking through some of the art, old art, new art, just kind of like looking through it. I really hope he does show up somehow, because but Mrs. Beaksworth 2 times mentioned, "I'm not your secretary." And so I'm wondering if that'll lead to Ducksworth making an appearance.
Well, yeah, eventually. He's probably lost in the mansion somewhere.
I mean, maybe.
That's what the first episode was really about. They just never found him.
I just don't know where he's at. So yeah.
He is dead somewhere. But I mean, this is something that I need to sit down and watch the.
You know what?
The series.
So you know what I think's gonna happen? Thinking about it, Donald Duck will become the assistant.
Well, possibly, yeah.
Thinking about it, he'll become the pseudo secretary or whatever that is. That's my professional.
So let's go over the voices very quickly.
Okay.
Did you like the voice of Scrooge?
David Tennant. Yeah, he does a fantastic job of voicing a Scrooge attitude. He's actually sounds a little peppier than the previous. I'd have to sit down and really listen to the voice of the original Scrooge from DuckTales. The original as being the original DuckTales Scrooge, not the first Scrooge. Which is he the first Scrooge? Is that where Scrooge comes out of? I thought Scrooge comes from the Christmas story, the Christmas Carol. So I liked him a lot. Huey and Dewey and Louie, I really liked their voices too. They're much different. They did the thing where there's one that's a little wild, there's one that's a little more nerdy, a little more ingenuitive, you think, but he's not always.
Okay.
And then there's another one.
Is there a party one?
There's one that does the crazier stuff, yeah.
Okay. Is there one that's like hot-headed?
No, they're more emotional, I'll say that. No, like
and you said Webby's like disciplined and karate expert?
Yeah. Where are you going with this? I feel like you're taking me somewhere.
Are you describing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
You know what? It does sound like that. We'll have to sit down and do an analysis of personalities compared to.
Are you saying that they can? Wait, is this a combined universe?
Maybe.
Wow.
Oh, this is the original.
You know what my brain just did? It just exploded in my head. My brain is mush.
Exploded in your head.
It exploded in my head, and now I'm just done, man. I don't know. I just combined Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with one of my other favorite shows. Are you ready for this?
What's that?
DuckTales.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming. The original voice of Scrooge McDuck was Alan Young. Our good friend Alan Young. unfortunately passed just recently, May 19th of 2016, at the ripe old age of 96.
And you know what? We've already mentioned Alan Young, a show Alan Young was on once before on this podcast.
What was that?
When you were guessing earlier, go back up to this picture, sir. When you were guessing earlier, when you were guessing what show I was talking about, do you recognize that fella from anywhere?
Yeah, when I pulled the picture up, I was like, he did look familiar, but I can't.
There was a horse. A talking horse, sir.
Is he off that?
He is
Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed's owner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was Wilbur.
Wilbur Post.
Wilbur.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow, I love voice acting and real actors and kind of how they mingle. That is amazing. Well, what else? What other amazing things did he do?
Now, I'll be honest with you. I did not know he did Scrooge McDuck, and so when you pulled him up, I was very surprised to see that he was the voice of it. But
Wow.
that is very cool.
That is cool. Let's see here. 1981, he was Mr. Frop on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Don't know that one.
He
was Cyclops on the Incredible Hulk, which is from the X-Men.
Okay. The Smurfs. He was Farmer Smurf, Minor Smurf, and Scaredy Smurf. Alvin and Chipmunks, he was Grandpa Seville.
On the new Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show, he was Gaggy Rogers.
Fred Rogers? Who is that?
I'm guessing that's Fred Rogers'
Gaggy?
grandpa?
RoboForce TV film. Okay. He was Soda, whatever that is. SOTA. Down to Earth, Murder She Wrote. DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck. Voice 100 episodes. Fantastic.
Oh, no. I am ashamed to admit it is not Fred Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
It's Shaggy Rogers.
Shaggy Rogers. That's right.
It's his uncle. Shaggy Rogers' uncle is Gaggy.
Gaggy. What a name. That's awesome.
Which I remember him now because he would sit there and go... Like, remember he had a hairball all the time? No, that didn't happen.
We talked about this show just the other day. Coach. He played a character on Coach, just a one-off character. He did a character on Doogie Howser. Tailspin, he was Dr. Copter.
He was on Batman the Animated Series. He was Todd Baker.
Todd Baker.
I don't know what that one. I don't know.
I think that one.
I know the episode Baby Doll, and I know
the episode Baby Doll. Was that the assistant then? Todd Baker?
Yeah, it may have been.
Okay.
I think he was the dad. Baby Doll's the one where the little girl.
She's not little though.
Right, she's an adult.
She's an adult.
But I think it's like her old show. I think he may have been the voice of the father
from the show. Yes.
From the show.
He was the Ren and Stimpy show. Okay. He did a couple episodes there. See if there's, and so he died in 2016. He was Mickey Mouse on the Mickey Mouse.
No, he was Scrooge McDuck.
On the Mickey Mouse show. He was Scrooge McDuck voice.
Yep.
Man, so he worked up until the year he passed. Static Shock, he was Dr. McDonald, which I don't know that one. I like Static Shock when it came out.
So wait, go back down just for a second. He was the voice of Wilbur Post on God, the Devil, and Bob. Apparently Wilbur got reused on 2001 for God, the Devil, and Bob. I don't know what that is, but Wilbur Post got brought back out, people.
Well, he did his own voice. See here. Video games, he did The Curse of Monkey Island.
Great game. Great game. I just want to say once again, great game.
Did you play that game?
Oh, man, I loved that game.
Oh, really? Are you being joking? Or are you
no.
Oh, really? Okay. Disney Think Fast. I don't know that one. He was Scrooge. He's Scrooge McDuck on the Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep, Disney Magical World, and DuckTales Remastered.
By the way, another great game, DuckTales Remastered. Incredibly fun game. They did an awesome job on the voice acting, and they added voice acting to the old game.
Didn't they add a couple levels?
Yeah, they added a couple levels. It's difficult, but it's fun.
That's what I heard.
So,
whoa, we need to move on past DuckTales.
Quickly, we got one last thing, Eric, and we are wrapping this thing up.
What is it?
We are once again going back to the 60s. There was a little house on a prairie that got put up for sale recently.
A Little House on a Prairie from the 60s. The Walton's Home.
No.
Little House on a
talking.
The house from Little House on a Prairie.
No, I'm talking the Beverly Hillbillies house.
That's not on a prairie, and it's not a little house.
It is on a prairie.
It's not on a prairie. It's in
Beverly
Hills.
Beverly Hills is a prairie.
The prairie of the concrete prairie.
The concrete prairie with its cement pond.
Yeah.
And it's,
How
much? You know what? Here's what I'm calling for is all our listeners.
All right, come on.
We all pull our money and we go live on. I mean, it might be hard to just fit all of us onto this little property.
Yeah, all of our listeners.
But 350 million.
Oh, guys, if we all go together, that's only 350 million. That's only about 170 million apiece.
I am
for
also
all of our listeners.
I'm also offering to put up a GoFundMe page.
Oh, wow.
For me to buy this house.
We can put it right, the one that I have for me to go get fencing lessons.
Yes.
And learn sword fighting.
Right.
So I can reenact the scenes out of The Princess Bride.
Right.
All right.
So, I mean, if you want to, please, go buy the house if you want to.
And just let us know.
Yeah, just let us know. Send us pictures.
Well, so buy us the ticket. We'll come look.
Right.
Come on. Don't be stingy.
Right. Don't, give us a tour.
Come on. Yeah.
You will let celebrities come into your home. Podcasting celebrities, Nick and Eric will come into your home. We'll even do a show from inside the Beverly Hills house if you let us come and visit.
Well, I do have to rephrase one thing.
We might get lost in the house and we may end up living there for years.
We have a fantastic show called Pull Up a Chair. But it is Eric and Nick. Eric and Nick have this show.
Hey, Eric, where can they find us?
Oh, they can find us all over the place.
Since you just mentioned our podcast, where's that at?
Our podcast. Well, we do a couple of fun things for our listeners. First, you can find us on iTunes or in any of the Android apps. Just type in Pull Up a Chair podcast or Pull Up a Chair and you will find us. We are that lovely triangular symbol that is rocking those 80s colors.
That's right.
That's right. Also, you can find us on this thing called the YouTube. YouTube.com, Pull Up a Chair. If you can find us, we're rocking that same symbol. It's kind of our logo.
It is. It's something that we've latched onto.
I like it. I like it.
It looks nice.
Where else can we go? Well, you can find us on Facebook. If you type in Pull Up a Chair, you'll find that symbol. Be sure to like and subscribe, like that page. We also do, we post articles here and there. We talk about other things. We're developing out the Facebook page. But if you want the core, the purity that is purely Pull Up a Chair podcast, go to pucpodcast.website, and that is our home. That's where we stake a claim.
And we will be making that home more of a home here fairly soon. We're still working on
we are. We're getting the colors right. We need to get some more of the skinning finished.
Right. And we're going to get on more of a schedule type of
we're going to throw the schedule up there. We're shooting to do some more shows. What kind of we do this longer form podcast. What other kind of podcasting do we do, Nick?
Well, you know what, Eric? I'm glad you asked.
Well, thank you.
We offer a variety of choices. If you want to listen to, say, a 45-minute to 50-minute podcast, you can get a smaller version of it, a 10-minute version, called the Micro Mini Lightning Cast. It's a little something we like to do to kind of just, if you only got a few minutes and you want to hear that Nick and Eric goodness, you can get it in the morning with the Micro Mini Lightning Cast.
Taking a shower or another thing that starts with the SH, and you can listen to us.
Right. Also, side note, inside the shower, don't put your headphones in and don't have the actual
Walkman?
Right, your phone on you. I mean, there's a lot of Walkman.
Your Walkman.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But make sure there's that. Now there's also we're going to be starting up again the Nostalgia Talk podcast.
You are?
Yeah,
the Not Eric podcast?
The Not Eric podcast.
Oh, wow.
The podcast that Eric may join us guest star in a couple times. But we'll be starting that one again. But we have a lot of things that are coming down the pike. We're trying to do a few different things. We're just going to have fun doing this. These are really podcasts that we find interesting and we talk about, and we invite you to pull up a chair and talk about nostalgia with us.
That's right.
So, Eric, any final thoughts before we move on?
my final thoughts. I'm just thinking about DuckTales and my excitement to watch the rest of the season.
Well, let me ask you know what? I'm going to pose a question to our listeners. What is a show that you would like to see rebooted?
Ooh, that's a good one.
What is something that from your past?
Okay.
I mean, if you may even go past the 80s, you can go 60s like they did with
Okay.
Munsters. What is a show that you want to see rebooted?
Okay.
Just throwing out a few, you know, something like you mentioned, Mr. Ed. I think it'd be fun to try to do that again.
My mind only goes to cartoons.
Well, there is that too. I'm thinking Jace and the Wheeled Warriors.
Yeah, if only.
If only.
If they'd make that movie and finish it.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys, we thank you for joining us. As always, it is a pleasure to have you with us. Please check us out on any of the things that you heard me and Eric talk about. If you liked us, please subscribe. Please leave us a comment. Leave us a review on iTunes. Tell people how good we are. And if you didn't like us, leave a review on iTunes. Or don't leave a review on iTunes. Please go to angelfire.com /
Pull up a chair.
Yeah, pull up a chair and leave it there.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to you. We'll tell you how we'll improve. Anyway, thank you for listening. And once again, we appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.